Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our Call of Cthulhu, the Masks of Nyarlathotep campaign. I am your keeper, and it is my privilege and honor to tell stories with these lovely people. And we will go around quickly and let everyone introduce themselves and tell you who they're playing before we dive on in. And this time we will start with Jasper.
Everyone. My name is Glyza. They, he, she, yes, in that order. And like our keeper said, I will be playing Jasper, 4 years older. And we'll be discovering what he's done in the past 4 years. It is probably trying to find Cthulhu
All right.
to kiss.
Choices are being made. Next up, Florence.
Hi, everybody. I am Mama McStabber, and I will be playing Florence Buckley, who is also 4 years older. Much to her children's dismay, she still hasn't dropped dead yet to give them the rest of their inheritance. She's still busy spending it.
Everyone's so happy in these 1925. Ricardo, your turn.
Hi, yeah, I'm Ricardo, but you can find me on the socials at Sir Monolith. I'm still alive, apparently, and still looking for Gus. All these last 4 years, been getting into lots of probably bad things I shouldn't be reading, and
True love.
exactly looking forward
Indeed.
to some more stuff that I probably shouldn't be reading, and looking forward to finding a way to definitely bring Gus back wrong, even though Ricardo will probably think he's doing it right.
It's good to
Definitely
have goals.
won't die in the process.
Wonderful goals. Charlie, your go.
Hi, I'm Ari. I am playing Charles today. Georgie decided to get a roommate and a cat, so she's living her best life at Harvard instead.
All right.
And last but certainly not least, Ezekiel.
Hey everybody, I'm Inkblood Demon. It's my socials. You can find me that on the relevant discords. I'm playing Ezekiel Washington, a brilliant, handsome, serious, not at all silly surgeon who will never, ever be silly, even once. Or else I owe Mama McStabber money.
All right.
Shit, I'm cooked.
It is good that we all have goals. However, we are joining our investigators at a interesting moment in their lives. It has been 4 years since the end of the Lima, Peru adventure. Each of you has had the time to search for answers and to avoid or to put behind you Augustus Larkin and his odd adventure. Officially, the Lima, Peru police department does not know much about what happened on that day. The adventurer Angus was never seen again, though some still search. That is not what brings you all here together on this cold, wintry New York day. You all have each received a telegraph from an old friend asking for you to meet him tonight at Hotel Chelsea. As we rejoin our investigators in the amphitheater of this hotel, I ask the five of you, what would you like to do?
I am bonding right now with Ricardo and Florence because I've been talking to Ricardo this entire time. We've been communicating, trying to find Gus. I don't know if Florence and I have kept in contact, but it's definitely not because I don't want to. So we probably, like, as soon as we saw each other, I'd give hugs and all that.
Oh, yeah.
It's like been such a long time. Ricardo, I've heard from your adventures, from your letters. It's great to see you again. It's been such a long time. Has anybody heard from Georgie recently?
Yeah, she told me that she needed to take a break and focus on some things for herself. So she's got herself a new apartment now with a nurse, and they have a cat that they've named after Gus.
Oh,
Yes. Different. We all remember Gus differently. Um, Georgie remembers him by having a cat. Ricardo and I are studying the arts to try and find him, different ways of remembering.
Yeah. I've invested in a scholarship at NYU in his name.
Oh, that's wonderful. If you need more, I could add.
It's fine, but thank you. You could do one too if you wish.
That's true. I'll call it Gus Part 2.
Or at a
Electric
different
Boogaloo.
school.
Oh, true. Yes. Correct.
yes,
All
I've been
right.
searching high and low, but so far, Gus's disappearance is still a mystery.
I
Don't know where he
understand you
is.
have to do what you have to do. I'm not sure if we'll ever find him.
Maybe not, but now that we
You miss
know,
him,
Yeah.
don't you, Ricardo? You miss him.
I miss his smart mouth. He was fun to banter with.
And then Jasper is smiling a knowing smile.
And as you three are reconnecting, we find ourselves following a young reporter as they step in from the freezing chill. Charlie, what do you look like today?
Charlie's a man of about average height. Dark brown hair, same eye color as his sister. Like they look very much the same if you were to put them side by side. He's got his well-worn jacket over him, kind of bundled up, muttering to himself about how Boston and New York happen to be on the same side of the coast, but he is convinced that New York, for some unknown reason, is colder.
As you are reflecting on the chill, you check the telegram one more time. And actually, can I have you read that for our audience, please? It is the
Yes,
first
you can. As
expedition paper.
as I am pulling it up because I totally did not close it. Telegram says, have information in concerning Carlisle expedition. Stop. Need reliable investigation team. Stop. Meet January 15th, New York. Stop. Jackson Elias.
Jackson.
So, Charlie, would you have gotten information from your sister about her expedition to Peru?
Yes, that was the whole reason he's in New York.
All right. As you look around the hotel, you do spot three people who, although have changed a bit, seem to match the description she's given you.
Oh, Georgie would have also had some photographs that Florence had taken too.
Yeah. He's kind of
do
looking at
recognize.
the telegram, and he's got one of the photos kind of behind it and kind of looking, just double checking people. Right, I think that's them. You got this, Charlie. It's okay. He's gonna make his way over. Good evening. Are you all Mr. Mendoza, Mrs. Buckley, and Dr. Castellano?
Yes.
Who are
Oh,
you?
are you
Are you related to Georgie?
Yeah, I was about to say. You look quite like.
I'm her little brother, Charlie. She sends her hellos, but also he'll turn the telegram around.
Yeah. Please have a seat. Have a seat. It's nice to meet you, Charlie.
It's nice to meet y'all too. Your trip. Well, I think Miss Buckley, you live in New York.
I live in the Hamptons. It's not far.
Everybody else's trip's been well.
Yeah. How's Georgie?
She's good. She is now a professor at Harvard. She is giving Dr. Miller absolutely terror, I would say, every living day of his life, and I appreciate that. Yeah, she's good. Actually, I have a recent photo, and he'll reach into his wallet to pull out a photo of Georgie with the giant cat in her arms, just looking pleased as Punch. Speaking of cats,
I would name that a Gus. That's true.
I remember Mr. Irons from before the expedition. Yeah, Gus the cat is living his best life. She has made sure he has all the comfort he can afford, and yeah, it's been a time, but kind of interested about this expedition.
Yeah. We don't know. I mean, I read Elias's last book. Did you all read it?
I
Yes.
flipped through it. Georgie read it. It's notated.
Yeah. I will say he did a pretty good job of keeping certain suspect details out of it.
All the spooky stuff, as she called it.
Hmm.
She did have a letter for Mr. Elias talking about royalties.
Yeah. I'm sure he's heard from my lawyer.
Oh, good.
While you all are debating whether or not it is legal to request royalties for such a book, another individual steps out of a private car, the emblem of a often misunderstood society, emblazoned on the cufflinks of the driver. Mr. Washington, please do take care. Our last letters from Elias were, lack of a better word, difficult to understand. Not entirely sure what you will be involved in.
I understand and accept any and all risks. It's time to do the good work of the people, regardless whether or not they're cognizant of such actions.
Right, we have given you a brief dossier on his old compatriots. We're not entirely sure if they will be here today.
They will be
But if
here.
they are,
Once you've been touched by such things, you remain in the grasp.
reach out to us if there's anything we can do to help.
Mr. Smith, thank you for all you've done for me. And should this be the last time we see each other, know that I did my duties to my highest degree of diligence. And we will accept the consequences as they are.
I hope to meet you again for a long debrief and hopefully a good book.
Yes, there is a strange way that we fund our activities through books. It's almost fitting in a way. Goodbye, Mr. Smith. Hope to see you soon.
Have a good evening.
Yes.
And
Then I
the
will-
car pulls away.
I will stroll confidently and slowly into the room.
All right, you enter the Hotel Chelsea, which is a very ornate hotel. It's more upper middle class in design. It is very clearly designed to draw a certain clientele, but just without being too ostentatious. There is kind of a gold trim that you would recognize as being just a few shades off from genuine gold. There are people, though the hotel does not seem to be very active. You catch there is a group of 4 people sitting at the bar, as well as a receptionist at a desk to your right as you're coming in.
Would I know what room they were in? Like to ask, like the receptionist, like where I would be directed to.
You do not know the name. You don't know the number, but you do know the name. So you would need to ask for the hotel room.
I would do that at the receptionist.
All right. The receptionist is a young man, tan skin, well trimmed beard, facial hair and beard. And as he looks at you, he goes, "Hello, welcome to the Hotel Chelsea. Are you here to check in, or are you visiting?"
I might be checking in. I believe I'm visiting just for now. I'm looking for my friends at the, and I'd probably hand them the piece of paper or whatever, like room it is, or a little meet and greet.
Oh, Mr. Elias, one moment. And you see he reaches beneath the desk and goes through a drawer of cards. And yes, for room 410, I have been told that he has not requested any forewarning, so you should be able to head right up.
Thank you so much. Did Mr. Elias pay for a room for me by any chance? There's a bit of a discrepancy.
Under what name?
Washington.
Let
Mr.
me
Ezekiel
see.
Washington.
Yes, I see. No, not yet. He has placed a request, but the only rooms available would be our Crown Suite, and that one was a bit more expensive than Mr. Elias had intended. If you would like to reserve the room now, though, you are welcome.
Keeper, how generous is the Midnight Society with such expenses?
Well, let's roll your credit score and we'll find out.
I want to roll
Well.
their credit score. That's the roll I want.
We will roll. We'll say roll. Just roll a d100. We'll see. We'll see if you have been given certain leeway.
$67.
I would say you're aware you do have a certain amount of funds that can be used, but from what you understand, this purchase would be just a bit beyond that.
Okay. Can I make a credit rating of my own then?
Sure.
That's not worth the luck.
It is.
I think for now, I will fend for myself. And I thank them for their time, and I go to Mr. Jackson's room.
All right. As for the 4 of you, as you all are having your conversations, you do pick up the tail end of the receptionist conversation. The mention of a Mr. Elias in the room 410. Do you all do anything?
Are we supposed to meet down here or in his room?
In his room.
Ah, okay. I will look at the 3 as soon as I hear that. Well, looks like Action Jackson is in his room and we should go ahead and see him.
I think we can catch the elevator with that gentleman.
Yes, that's a good
Florence.
idea.
Perfect.
And Florence walks towards the elevator.
Charles, was it?
Yeah,
Charles
Charlie.
in charge.
Oh,
Wait.
Charles. Charlie for short.
Charlie. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Remembering to grab his coat off the back of the chair where he left it.
All right. You all are able to catch the same elevator if you wish to do so. There is an elevator operator who will, if you give him the number of the room, press the button, and you all are on your way. Is this a quiet elevator ride?
Florence looks at the gentleman she doesn't know and says, I believe we're going to the same place. Florence Buckley. And you are?
It's so nice to meet you. I am Ezekiel Washington.
Pleasure.
It is a pleasure to meet you. And that necklace that you have on, how have you had that for a long time? It is enchanting.
I have. It was a sweet 16 present.
I think one of the few things that have aged as well as that present is you.
Oh, well,
Madam
thank you
Buckley.
for the flattery.
I only tell the truth.
And she will be quiet at that point so the others can introduce themselves if they wish.
Oh, Mr.
Jasper.
Ezekiel.
Go ahead.
This is my name is Ricardo. Pleasure to meet you.
Ricardo, it is also a pleasure to meet you as well. In this incredibly long elevator ride, I feel as if I've met people of a like mind.
Yes, I mean it's very long. I think they said it was like 5 or 6 stories high. So,
We're going to the 4th floor. But
oh, okay.
elevators are a little slow.
They are.
I think this
Good.
one's hand crank.
No,
No,
no, it is
No?
not. It's just moving slowly.
maybe too many people.
Oh, well, I would be happy to get off if required.
Where are you gonna go?
I am meeting a friend, Mr. Jackson.
What floor?
The 4th floor, room 410.
Well then, I guess the stars have aligned for us to have crossed paths. We're going to the same place.
The stars. I like that. Might the stars connect us some more? Ricardo, you appear to have some friends. Don't you look interesting? And I extend my hand over to Jasper. I am Ezekiel Washington.
On the outside, Jasper's like, yes, Jasper Mendoza. It's really nice to meet you. On the inside, Jasper's like, but on the outside, Jasper's like, yeah, Ezekiel, was it? It was really nice. Jasper Mendoza, nice to meet you.
Ezekiel, but you may call me what you wish. I hope you would call me friend.
Jasper short-circuited for a little bit over there. And then was like, friend indeed is a good yeah, friend. Yeah, absolutely. Let's be friends.
Are you okay, Jasper?
I am fantastic.
I
The
believe
best
you.
I've ever been.
I believe that as well. You just look a little flush around the face, Jasper.
It's called the Asian flush. It happens.
It sounds wonderful. You should tell me more about it. And you, what is your name?
Charles Royce. It's nice to meet you.
Yes. What do? You look quite studious and intelligent.
Reporter.
Oh, lovely. What do you report on?
I'm an investigative reporter. Up in Boston, I usually do crime reporting.
Oh, you do the crime. Do you report on
No,
yourself?
reporting on crime.
Industrious.
Oh no, my mother would absolutely have my head on a platter if I did anything illegal.
Well, your morals and your talent are second to none.
Thank
I'm
you.
so glad to meet you.
It's good to meet you too.
I believe the elevator is now.
Yes, you all are a very awkward standing elevator operator. For that
Flores is just
conversation.
like seeing this guy work the fucking elevator. And it's just like, damn. Okay.
The elevator door does open, and you all are left on a quiet hotel, the quiet floor of the Hotel Chelsea. A once foretold journey as you all are walking up to room 410. Can I have everyone make a listen roll, please?
So, listen, keeper. I'm sorry.
Listen, yes, please.
Thank you, sir. I apologize.
Next
I'm
time,
not
use your
bothering with the
ears
luck.
and listen.
Okay, well, first, Charles, roll a d10 and increase your listen roll because that's a 1. Everyone is hearing everything. So,
Not everyone.
Charles, Ezekiel, and Jasper, you pause for a moment and you hear what sounds like a muted scream. And then you hear people moving around, almost as if someone is going through drawers or overturning furniture.
I'm going to kick the door down.
Same. That was my first reaction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Charlie and I go, ha ha!
All right. You can either each of you give me a strength roll, or one of you can give me a strength roll with a extra dice.
Ricardo's
Bonus
watching in amusement.
What is your strength roll, Charlie?
50.
Yeah, I'll just give you the other dice.
So roll it
Mine is
twice.
35.
Yeah, just roll,
Roll
it
it
twice.
twice.
Roll it twice.
Both
All
were
right.
successes.
Charlie takes a step back and slams a foot in to the door. The room door lock splinters, and you all see a terrifying sight. You see, your attention is first drawn to the figure in the center of the room. Sat in a chair, hands bound behind him, is your old companion, Jackson Elias. His head staring up at the sky, though you can tell his eyes are sightless. And from here, you can see a bit of blood dripping down the center of his forehead. Next, your attention is drawn to the windowsill as 3 people begin to make their way out onto the fire exit and down from the hotel room. What do you do?
I scream, "You will not harm my friend. This will not go unmet." And I charge after them with blood in my eye.
All right.
Did you like drip some blood in your eye, or?
It is metaphorical blood, not literal.
All right.
I will
Ezekiel
run
is
as
chasing.
well.
Jasper
I will
is
also
chasing.
chase.
Ricardo looks around for a moment, shrugs, and joins the chase.
All right. Jasper, Ricardo, Ezekiel are off to the races. Charlie and Florence. What about you?
Charlie's gonna stop and check on Jackson to see if he's alive.
Give me a medicine check, please.
Ugh. It's not gonna be the best. Yeah, no, that's not his forte.
Okay. From what you can tell, he has passed away. However,
No!
Not action, Jackson.
you
Not
do
action,
see-
Jackson!
You do see an image, the image that has been carved into the center of his forehead, and I have shared it with you.
Perfect.
Florence is going to get a little closer after Charlie to take a closer look.
All right. You will also. You are saying. Are you checking on Jackson, or are you checking on the room?
Checking on Jackson Elias, yeah.
All
She's
right,
not
you
chasing.
can-
She's too old for that shit. In these heels? No.
Mrs. Buckley, I think he's dead, but what do you make of this symbol?
I would like to roll to see what I make of that symbol. Would it be a cult?
Yes.
And I fail it. And I look at it and I'm like, I don't know. I've never seen anything like that. But I'm not grossed out. It's almost obviously not the first dead body she's seen.
He's gonna take his camera out and take a photo of it just to keep it
All right.
on hand in case they need it later.
All right. Snap a picture. And while you two
Florence
are...
will as well.
All right, easy enough. Did Florence bring her lady maid with her this time?
She's waiting in the car.
Okay. So, as you all are taking your time and taking pictures, the other three are attempting to give chase. So, can I have your ducks and move scores, please? Just type them out in the Zoom for me, just to make this a little easier
okay.
on me.
That makes okay. So we're not rolling anything. We're just telling you what they are.
Yep, just telling me what they are.
I am looking
Dex
for the
and move
moves.
score?
Yep, there is a, yes, Dex is one of the 9 attributes, and then you should have a move or MOV score on your sheet.
Yeah,
Where?
they jam it down somewhere else.
Yeah, so your movement scores in that second row where your dodge it's underneath the tabs that say skill, combat, backstory. That's where your dex that's where your movement is, and dexterity
Ah,
is
Yeah, it's
also
under the
there.
combat tab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goodness, you guys are not the most dexterous adventurers in the world. But that's okay.
Not me.
Oh goodness! All right, beautiful. So, the three assailants, you can now see clearly in the moonlight. They are carrying these strange-looking blades that resemble a curved machete. As they climb down the fire escape and look back up towards you, you can see 2 of them are darker-skinned African American, while another is white. They are all wearing these headbands with what looks to be a red piece of fabric hanging down in front of them. If you wish to give chase, I need everyone to make a climb roll to get down to this fire escape.
Yeah, I'm going to try to give chase. And I'm not going to be very good at it.
Are you all going down the fire escape at the same time?
Probably that's why we failed.
All right.
That's probably why we failed. Because we went down at the same time.
After did Ricardo also see them brandishing the knives, or is that just Jasper?
Yes. No, you all would have seen that. As soon as you get to the window, you can see as one looks up at you, you can see the weapons, and
Ricardo will probably go, "Ah!" and run back towards the room.
all right, fully understandable. Fully understandable. So, Mr. Washington, are you climbing as well?
I failed my climb, and as
I
I
also failed it.
as I was starting to make my way down, I would imagine, and keep or alter this if it's not appropriate, I would imagine that I've realized that I am much more in regards to strength and brawn. I'm built like a refrigerator. And I'm never going to make up that distance. And I stop, grab the railings. Curse you. You are my enemies now, and I will have my vengeance. And I say, Jasper, if you want to continue, proceed. But I fear I failed.
If you wish to continue, you can make a hard roll, make a push roll, but there may be some consequences. As you can see now, the fire escape has been iced over, and parts of it are rickety and not quite secured to the hotel. Or you can give up.
I'm gonna make it. Action Jackson and I went through a lot together. So let's re-roll this climb.
Yeah, I would push it too because he's my mentor.
All right.
Damn it. Well, it's not too bad of a bad one.
I was hoping for some like super critical fails.
All right.
Start the game off with a bang with 2 character deaths.
You both begin to make your way down. You get about halfway down the rail when you can feel the fire escape begin to peel off from the wall, and as you attempt to grab a hold, the ice breaks off and you begin to fall. Give me a jump roll to see if you can tumble your way out of the worst of this impact.
Fail.
I also fail. Keeper, I think that my failure would be more an inclination of grabbing Jasper close to me and then trying to shield them from the descent.
Whoa, some
Okay.
heartbeats happening here.
Okay. I find that acceptable. So. Okay, so as you both enter free fall, you find yourselves momentarily weightless, and there's a strange freedom to this moment. Mr. Washington, as you attempt to protect one of Elias's companions, you grab hold, and as you hit the ground, you take 11 points of damage as you land on a dumpster. Jasper, because of the work of Mr. Washington, you will only take 6 points of damage.
Cool.
Well, I have 9 health.
All right, so as Mr. Washington smashes into this, you fall unconscious almost immediately. And you're also the group's doctor, so that's just even more wonderful. Jasper, make me a spot hidden roll to see if you notice anything while falling.
Okay, give me a minute. Spot hidden.
Already,
No,
Ree?
my heart was beating far too much at, being in this closed space that I was distracted.
You don't spot the sharp pieces of rebar sticking out of the trash you're about to fall into.
Unfortunately, I do not.
Okay. As you fall on top of Washington, you feel him go unconscious, though you can tell he is still alive. Just as you all are buried in the snow and ice, you hear a car peel out in the distance. While this is happening, Florence, Charlie, and now Ricardo,
Well, I'm dying.
what are you?
This is how Florence dies.
Ricardo gets back.
Laughing at everyone else. Okay, so we're still in the room with the dead body of Mr. Elias, and she's going to look over at Charlie and say, "You're an investigative reporter.
Yes, ma'am.
We need to look around this room to see what the fuck he was going to talk to us about." And she even swears and everything. And she's like, "And then we need to get out of here before they send someone up here to report it to the concierge downstairs."
Yes, ma'am. He's going to start looking around.
Ricardo gets back. They jumped out the window.
Yeah, we saw that.
They had knives.
Yeah, they carved into his head.
Oh,
You want to take a look at it?
Oh, yeah. Ricardo,
Well,
we'll come take a closer look.
Where
'Cause
are the
he
other
didn't
two?
spot all that shit. I think they went after them.
Oh, I'm sure that's going to go swimmingly.
I have no weapons. I have no weapons. I'm not going to fight men with knives.
Yeah.
All right, now let me do a quick look around, and I'll go after and see if they're okay.
And
All
besides,
right.
he looks at the guy. He's already dead.
Yeah, but look at his forehead. They carved a symbol.
Would I have to roll anything to try to recognize the symbol, Ree?
occult roll?
Roll me a history roll, Ricardo, or an intelligence roll, either one.
See, I wish I rolled intelligence. I might have.
I'm about to say I could have rolled
because I got intelligence.
You do, but there are differences.
Mm-hmm.
I got success. Just barely. Jesus.
As you look at this symbol, your mind is pulled back to a night 4 years ago, a night where you stared into the golden mask of Nyarlathotep, and you saw an image of a symbol you didn't recognize at the time. But now that you've seen it again, you realize what you had saw back then was not a random vision. It was important of what was to come. You know this symbol has something to do with the same people that you faced in Peru all those years ago.
Ricardo just kind of audibly
What?
gasps while looking at the symbol.
What is it?
Florence, we're back in Peru.
What?
The symbol. Because if I remember right, Florence took
Yeah.
the mask and said, "Yeah, you don't remember the mask?"
I remember the mask, but now I want to take another look at it now that he's jogged her memory.
Roll me an intelligence check. See
Something
what
to
you
do with these-
recall.
Something to do with those people.
Yeah, I got barely a success too. The rolls are great tonight.
You do recall it being mentioned amongst many of the visions that had been bestowed upon you when all of you, or almost all of you, reached out to whatever lay beyond that mask. And you realize it does match what was told. It is a weird looking, almost flower symbol on a black background. Though now you realize it wasn't
It's
a black
the symbol.
background.
It was his forehead.
It was showing us what's to come.
And she just looks at him and says, "It was. Oh, this isn't good."
No. And out of character, I'm trying to remember. Did Jasper keep the mask?
Absolutely, he did. Jasper has taken it as a toy because he is immune to it.
Sure. If you wish to have kept it, you could have.
We need to remember as much as we can. From that
Yeah.
It may help us with what's to come.
And she looks to Charlie to see if Charlie's checking the room.
Yeah, Charlie's been checking the room.
Roll
Hopefully
me,
no more of
let's
those
say
little white
spot
things.
hidden. For this, see what you
Perfect. We'll
find.
see how roll 20 likes me tonight.
It's not
Nope.
liking me.
Not liking anyone.
The room has been torn apart as if people have been searching, so it's going to take you some time to figure out what in here can be of use or not. You'll need to sit down and go through it all.
Yeah, he'll start trying to sort stuff. Yeah, this place is like a part of my language, but they did a shit job at here. There's like stuff everywhere. It's gonna take me a bit to sort through it, and he's gonna just start sorting stuff as best as he could.
Florence
Any-
will help.
Yeah, Ricardo will help too. Should I roll spot hidden as well?
Go for it.
I'm kind of
Oh.
worried about the other two since they haven't came back yet.
We are all failing.
The other two are dead.
Rip.
Would you like to push any of these rolls?
You know what? Ricardo will try to push because he feels like
Yeah.
there's got to be something, and we need to be like super sure.
Yeah,
So-
I'll push it too.
Push
Okay.
it. Ah,
Hard success though.
This isn't even Ree's fault. I normally blame Ree. This isn't even Ree's fault.
All gonna die for a second.
Ree, can we
Rolls
run
are
this back? Chat. This was the opening test for. We're gonna redo all of this after the break, and we're gonna redo this.
Extra glad I didn't try to
Yes.
climb down that ladder
And
outside.
Thank
And
God
then
I have
we're
another character.
back. We're all gonna leave roll 20, turn it off, turn it back on, and then we'll start all over again.
I like how Gus is probably in a safer situation than the rest of y'all.
Right?
He's like, oh, I'm just getting fucking punched by Cthulhu. It's way better here than over there.
So,
Little
Fuck.
Cthulhu donkey
Ricardo.
punch, no problems here.
Ricardo, my friend, can I have you roll me a d6, please?
Oh. 3.
Okay. So, you are searching the overturned desk when you come across something that looks like a matchbook. But as you go to pick it up, you fumble it, and as you drop it, it falls into what had to have been either water or alcohol, whatever someone had been drinking before, and you see the whatever slip of paper that had been inside of it before begin to dissolve into the liquid. And you have lost a clue, unfortunately.
Oh, I was gonna say like he would probably have panicked and slapped the glass across the room to try and, in a panic, but it probably wouldn't have done anything.
Sure, you guys will fumble again, so we could do that one for a future fumble. However, Charlie, you find two things. Here, I will share them with you. The first one is a card for a place called the Pinhue Foundation that had been amongst some of Jackson's other notes. Well, I'll just share it with everybody.
Yeah,
and then the
'cause-
second is a blurry photo of a ship.
Because as he's finding them, he's handing them to Florence, kind of just like, I think this looks good.
Yeah, and she's taking them and taking a closer look at them.
Ricardo's like, don't worry, I'm helping.
Yeah, she knows how Ricardo helps. And
Well, as you all are doing your best, it is at this point that you all hear someone outside scream, and then you hear an impact as if something just slammed into something hard.
I think that's our cue to leave.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, weren't the other two outside on? Oh, good heavens.
We'll go find them outside. We need to
Yeah.
advise the concierge there's been a murder in the
Yeah.
room here.
Mhm.
All right. And as you all are going to alert the concierge, Jasper, I have some questions for you there, friend. How much health
friend?
do you have?
Currently, I have 8 health.
And how much did you have at the beginning?
14.
Okay, good. So you're still alive. You're still going good. You have not lost half of your health, but you were pretty close. So as you are attempting to pull yourself out of the snow and debris, what do you do?
I'm going to look for the handsome man that fell with me.
You find him. He is buried about maybe half an inch further down below you. You can see, from what you're able to see, you think some maybe old furniture or maybe some kitchen appliances. It's hard to tell for sure. Has broken your fall, but he does not seem to be moving or responsive.
I'm going to I have first aid.
That would be
I'll
helpful.
use first aid to help him. Wow, it's a success.
Okay, with a success, you are able to stabilize him. He will not die. However, he will be in some trouble if he takes any more damage.
Cool.
Are you going to leave him here to look for help?
Is he unconscious?
Still unconscious.
Okay. I'm going to take off my jacket and I'm gonna wrap it on top of him. And I'm gonna go look for him.
All right, you are able to do so. And as you step out onto the street, the snowfall begins to pick up. It becomes hard to see just what's around you. Are you making your way back to the hotel entrance, or are you going to scream for help while outside?
I'll be screaming for help while outside.
All right, roll me let's say persuade or charm roll. See how well you could get people to come to your aid.
My charm is higher, so I'll roll charm. Ugh. How much do I need to?
If you want to spend luck, you need to spend 15 points.
All right, I'll spend 15 to get that to success.
All right. As you are calling for help, you see one of a police officer, one who has been on a foot patrol. He kind of steps up towards you a bit. He's got his jacket and gloves kind of up to help block from the snow, and he looks at you and he goes, "What's the problem?"
Oh, we were outside on the what is it called? The
Fire escape.
and when it fell apart and took us with it, I'm feeling a bit better, but my friend, he is not moving. We need help to get him to to stabilize him and all that. Please.
All right, lead the way.
And I do.
All right, so let's see if police officer has any useful skills for this particular situation. He is very good at medicine, but he begins to, you see, he takes some of the trash that has been, what you guessed have been like an apron at one point, and he begins to tear it up and to form a makeshift brace just to kind of help stabilize Mr. Washington. And as he finishes, he turns to you and he goes, "Stay with him. I will see if someone in the Hotel Chelsea can make a phone call for an ambulance. I will just stay here." And as he leaves you, we will say he enters the hotel just as the five of you have started speaking to the
three of us?
receptionist. Yes, the three of you, yes.
Mhm.
There are too many faces.
Too many faces.
I'm gonna get the thing that grays people out when I'm not talking to them. The three of you arrive, and as he looks around, I need for you to make a call. There's someone in the alley that needs medical attention. Just use my badge number, and he takes off his badge and hands it over to the receptionist, who holds up a hand to you all. All right, I'll take care of that. Just give me one moment for you three, and is there anything you all do while this is happening?
Florence is going to wait until they are done communicating, and then she'll actually just tell the officer that there has been a murder up on the 4th floor. And she'll look quite distraught doing so.
Okay. He, as the ambulance is finished calling, he looks at you and he goes, "That is a very serious thing to say. Who is the
We
deceased?"
went up to visit our friend, Mr. Jackson Elias, and we heard a disturbance, got in and saw him there. We saw some people leaving out the fire escape. Some of our friends went to chase them, and I don't know, we haven't seen our friends.
I see. All right. I'm going to need the three of you to stay here.
Of course.
I will go and check. What room?
410.
410. All right, he turns to the receptionist. Send a call down to the station for me, please. Let Lieutenant Poole know that there's been an accident as well as a murder. I'll take care of things upstairs.
Thank you,
And
officer.
he leaves. Do the three of you stay?
Florence didn't give him a name. So
No, it is true. It is true. You did not do that.
Yeah, basically, as he's walking towards the elevator, Charlie's kind of sliding towards the door because he's like, "Oh, I think we need to go find Jasper." And
yeah,
Ezekiel."
we're going to, once he gets on the elevator, we're going to exit.
All right,
Stage
you
left.
She gave a report.
Mm-hmm.
He can use that.
Okay.
That's
You
right.
all step out into the now snowing night. How do you intend to find Jasper and Ezekiel?
I think we should walk around to where the fire escape is, see if they're still back there.
Yeah,
I think it's this way, right? It's just
yeah, that's Charles.
Ricardo, your sense of direction is awful. She leads them around the building.
I think we should follow Miss Buckley on this. She is a New York native. And probably knows her way around the city better than either one of us. Come on, Dr. Castellano.
To a very careful examination of distance, you are able to find the alleyway where you find Jasper, who is doing their best to keep the unconscious form of Ezekiel Washington warm.
Jasper, are you all right?
We fell down. The fire escape broke before we could reach those. Is Jackson okay?
No, Jackson's dead. The officer has requested an ambulance. It should be here soon.
Perfect. Yeah. He hasn't woken up, but I think he's stable now.
Okay. We did find some things in the room before we reported the murder.
Do you what did you find?
And she shows the card and the photograph.
Do I know any of these things at all? Can I make a roll to know them?
I would say you're we're wealthy. You're wealthy. Roll. You can make me both a history. You can make me 2 history rolls to see what you know. About both
2
of them.
history rolls? Okay.
2 history rolls.
Where is that? History. Wow. All right. They're both failures.
Nope. Never seen them before in your life.
Never seen them. You
Hmm.
Guys aren't very good at history. I'm gonna do intelligence next time.
I'm looking at the business card as I'm handing it to Jasper, and I'm thinking, maybe we need to go to London.
Maybe.
Ricardo leans in. What's in London?
She shows the card.
He looks at the card. Is the card recognizable to me?
Let's see. You are not very wealthy, so I would say you can make an intelligence check because you guys aren't very good at history. But you do see the card.
I did not know.
You have no idea.
Can
I made one because I'm wealthy.
Hey!
Yes, you have heard of the Penny Foundation in passing. It is owned by a very wealthy man in London. He's kind of a socialite and philanthropist. You don't know what Mr. Elias would want with him. They don't seem to run in the same circles from what you understand, but he is much more well known in Europe and London.
And that is this Edward that's on the card?
Yes. Edward Gavigan, he is the director of the Penny Foundation. And,
Yeah.
Mr. Penyu is the wealthy one.
Mr. Penyu's the socialite and philanthropist? Okay,
Yeah.
got it. She said, I'm passingly familiar with the Penhus of London. The Mr. Penhu, he's kind of like me. He's socialite, philanthropist, that kind of thing. Not so sure why Mr. Elias would be tied to them. That's why I'm thinking we might need to go to London.
Hmm. Well, it's worth looking into. I
But
hear
first, we
London
got
is
to get
nice.
this gentleman, Mr. Washington, recovered.
Hmm. Yes. And our friends. Let's find our other compatriots wherever they are.
Mr. Washington, my friend, can I have you make me a constitution roll? The cold is not conducive to recovery. Well, you guys are not doing very well on the rolls. So you do not wake up, my dear friend. But are you all doing anything besides waiting for the ambulance?
I'm not. I'm keeping Ezekiel warm and waiting for the ambulance.
See? So one more thing.
Okay. All right, then in the interest of condensing events a bit, we will say about 40 or so minutes later, you notice that the ambulance does arrive. They do manage to take Mr. Washington in. Are you all avoiding the police when they arrive?
No.
Did you,
No,
did you need to talk to them about anything else? Not hiding
I'm not
from them.
avoiding them, but as a matter of fact, Flo will go back into the hotel if the others would like to leave, because I know also Jasper might need some medical attention as well, due to injuries and such. So Florence will be happy to take any questions that the officers have. She's the witness that reported it.
All right. Florence is going back in. What about Ricardo and Charlie? What are you two doing?
I think once the ambulance gets in, he'd follow Florence back inside because they were the ones who were doing all of the looking around.
Right. So, as you all are,
Yeah. No, you're good. Go ahead.
as you return to the building, you see now there are several police officers coming in and out taking notes, specifically both plainclothes and detectives. One person does take an interest in you all, a man named Lieutenant Martin Poole. And kind of the heavy-set man that you notice that the muscles are beginning to turn into a bit of fat, kind of around the belly. He looks at you all and pulls out a small notepad. Excuse me, I hope I am not disturbing you. I'm told you all were with the deceased at the time of his attack. Is that correct?
Not at the time, but like immediately after. We heard a commotion as we were approaching our friend's room door, and we got in to see what was going on, and the assailants were leaving out the window.
The assailants,
Our two companions went down. She's excluding Ricardo from this purposefully, and she's our two companions. They're now currently getting medical attention because the fire escape, when they went to chase the assailants, collapsed and injured them.
I see. Can you describe these assailants for me?
And I will, to the best of my recollection.
Mm-hmm.
They had knives.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Do you know if Mr. Elias had any enemies that may have wanted to see him harmed?
I wasn't that intimate with Mr. Elias. We had done some work together in the past, but I don't know his personal dealings that well.
All right. And why were you here to visit Mr. Elias?
We had done an expedition in Peru 4 years ago, and he had some information he wanted to share with us about that. And she shows the telegram to the police officer.
I see. All right. Is there any other things you may have witnessed, no matter how small or insignificant it may seem? It may help us catch the person who did this.
I didn't witness anything else. I was too stunned by seeing my friend in the state he was in.
All right. One more thing. The elevator worker said there were 5 people who went to see Mr. Elias.
Yes, the other 2 I stated, they went down after the assailants and the stairwell, the fire escape collapsed on them. They're now getting medical attention.
You're all here for the same reason. Is
Yes.
that... Can I have you all roll me a persuade or fast talk roll, please?
Did you say all of us?
Yep. Well, if you're here for the conversation.
Okay. I mean, I'm
Can I-
standing here, but I'm not
can I-
participating.
Can I use charm?
Can I use
I'm
charm?
probably asking. Let me see here.
Sure, a little charm. You guys can really use a win.
Yeah, I got a hard success, and Ari got a extreme success.
You guys get a win.
Nope, failure.
We'll cover you. It's fine.
Ricardo's just so flustered he can't speak very well.
I think Dr. Castellano is just very, very surprised by tonight's events. This is not as we intended.
I'm going to give you all a bit of a warning. As Mr. Elias is not the first victim to die in a similar manner. I've been 8 others.
8?
Yes, we had been under the impression that a man, a resident of Harlem named Hilton Adams, had been responsible. Though it appears we may not be as sure as we thought. It appears the victims have no discernible connections. Wealthy, poor, middle class, race, location, all seem to be random. So I would suggest if you or your friends have heard of anything else, that you let us know.
We will, officer. We will. Thank you for the warning.
One more thing. Be careful of Captain Robeson in the 14th. There are some rumors.
What sort of rumors?
Give me another charm, fast talk, or persuade roll.
We're going to go with charm. An extreme success. Socialite's in her element.
There are some rumors that Captain Robeson isn't exactly a upstanding member of the force. Especially
Really?
now that the murders didn't stop. So,
And could
be
I have your
careful.
name, officer?
Poole. A lot of names. Lieutenant Poole, Martin Poole.
Lieutenant Poole. Okay.
Yes.
What's his name? The guy that he was warning. Florence?
Captain Robeson, Robeson.
Okay.
In the 14th. Got it. I got notes.
Notes? I'm very impressed. I'm very happy.
Yes, I'm trying.
But with that, he does leave you all, and you see him begin to discuss different things with the other officers in attendance. Is there
Okay.
anything you all wish to do?
Well, now that we are dismissed by the police because they've taken our statements and all that stuff, because, we are upstanding citizens, even if we do sus ass shit. So she'll just kind of look at the 3 here and say, I'm probably going to head to the hospital and check on the other 2.
Yeah.
Well,
Do you all have places to stay for the night? Are you
yeah, I have an aunt. So I'm gonna go stay with her. I could come to the hospital with you just to make sure that they're doing okay.
and
Yes. Yes,
okay.
let's go to the hospital. There's no reason to turn in yet.
Okay. And we will get in Florence's car because they don't need to take cabs when Florence has a car. And we can go.
Right. It is a bit difficult to navigate the road at the moment. It is still snowing,
Mm-hmm.
but you're able to do so. You do arrive at Bellevue Hospital, where you find Jasper and Mr. Washington. I do have a quick question for you, Jasper. Are you making arrangements for Mr. Washington's hospital stay?
Yes.
All right. With your immense wealth, it is of little consequence to afford the best and high quality scientific healing. But Washington, give me a Constitution roll. And you can have a bonus dice because you get the good stuff. You get the good medicine.
You get the good stuff.
You get the good morphine.
Got the opium at the time.
Opium, yeah.
I love it. Yeah. Thanks to the here, just roll the bonus dice. Maybe you get an even better roll. Oh. Nope, it's the same. It's the same. So with the expert care of the hospital, you do awaken. We'll say you wake up about an hour and a half later. I will say you do sustain a major wound that I will determine during our break. But you are awake, Mr. Washington.
I am not in pain. The morphine must have been administered to me. I look around the room. Who do I see?
Oh, we're probably all in there at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jasper. Come
I'm
closer.
glad you're okay.
Come closer.
Closer?
Closer.
Closer?
Not too close.
Okay.
Maybe a little closer.
Okay.
Little more. Very good.
How about this?
I smelled you when I was unconscious. The scent from your coat brought me comfort. I owe you a debt that I shall pay.
I'm glad.
know.
It is baby clone.
It is marvelous. Lawrence, I wish I had met you again in better circumstances, but it is a pleasure to see you as always.
You just heal up. We found some things, but we'll talk about it when you feel better.
I currently cannot feel anything at all.
I know.
Might I please see whatever you have?
And she shows him the photograph of the boats and the Penhew card.
Keeper?
Roll me an intelligence check.
Can I spend the luck on that, Keeper?
Sure. You guys could really use more wins at the moment, so maybe.
Yes, and more
Maybe why.
unfractured ribs, too. I could use that as well.
So are you spending for a regular success?
Yes.
All right. I will say you are aware of the Penhew Foundation, though you don't know much about the director. You know it is a philanthropist organization inside London that does good work, but it is also a bit of a boys' club, so to speak, a place for the wealthy to kind of show off. The picture of the boat, though, you do recognize. It is of a ship called the Dark Mistress, and this photo is most likely taken somewhere in Shanghai. From what you have heard from some of your contacts in the Midnight Society, there have been some odd things happening in Shanghai of late, though you aren't too sure about what they are.
This is not good. This is deeply disturbing.
Well, I have come to learn that if Mr. Elias was involved, it's generally not good.
How is Mr. Elias?
Dead.
Dear friend, I will miss you. But he would want me to stick to the task at hand. The Pinhues are pretentious.
London elite.
Yes, they are a boys' club. There would not be a place for someone such as myself there. My Midwestern roots would be an affront to their decadent lifestyle. But their churlish chicanery is not the most alarming thing that I see here. It is the boat. The boat is named the Dark Mistress. There's nothing wrong with having a bit of consensual fun. One of his eyes lingers over to Jasper just for a brief flitting second. Fun is
Flies
good.
over Jasper's head. Because Jasper is oblivious.
I do enjoy the chase. Be that as it may, the Dark Mistress brings dark tides. It is most likely in Shanghai, or was taken in Shanghai, and quite frankly, the society that I am a part of, and that Elias Jackson, may he rest in peace, was a friend of. We're investigating it.
Well, then perhaps your society can help give us a lead on what we need to do.
Unfortunately, Florence, I am that lead, and they gave me something to do.
And what is that?
Help you.
Well,
I
you need to help
know.
yourself first.
Oh, Florence, your words are both accurate and painful. Not that you mean to hurt me, for I've already done that myself.
Yes, you have.
Jasper, are you unscathed?
This but a scratch.
Good. Ricardo, I'm happy to see that you are well. Charlie, are you
Yeah.
sound? Safe and sound?
As far as I know, he's been writing in like a little notebook he keeps in his pocket. It just says, like hospital, cocaine talking, like morphine talking, like question mark, question mark, question mark. And then in the corner, he's like, I feel like we need to leave the room. It might be a moment, and he's underlined it in his book. But yeah, just doing fine. You know, trying to figure out where to go from here. Well, cops told us off about Captain Robeson, 14th Precinct.
Yeah,
Does that
they
mean
told
anything
us.
to me? Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Florence.
they told us about that they've seen other murders like what happened to Mr. Elias. Mr. Elias had this symbol carved on his forehead, and Florence will describe it in detail.
We took a photo.
We
just
took
haven't had-
photos. We just have to develop them.
Might I? I ask you to describe it one more time.
And I
it's
do.
Clearly fighting the morphine. Does that mean
And I
anything
do.
to me, Keeper? Thank you, Florence.
You can make me an occult roll to see if you've heard of this symbol before.
I have not. Could I push that roll, actually? No, never mind. No, I'm not doing no more pushing. Nope, I fail. I accept my failure.
Well, why?
I will say I've seen it before. We can talk about it when you're more clear-headed.
Elias told me some things about what he referred to as the Peru incident. I know more than what was in the books, but not.
There's things even Mr. Elias didn't know.
Yes, I told him that all the time. Called me a whippersnapper.
But there's been 8 other murders like it.
Ritual murders of some kind, I'm sure.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. They were looking into a Hilton Adams in Harlem.
Would seem. Is that in the 8th? Is that in that bad district, Keeper? The district
Yes.
we were warned of.
Yes. You know that the 14th district is Harlem, so it is not much of a leap for you to assume that Hilton Adams was a resident.
Hilton Adams is likely a patsy if they already have their culprit and this kept happening. I tend to presume the worst things, and they tend to be the most accurate in this line of work. Ironically, I've not told you what type of doctor I am, and Florence, I'm sure the irony will not be lost upon you or anyone else. I am a surgeon.
Well, do be a good patient, doctor, and allow them to help your healing.
Yes. I will most likely check myself out tomorrow, to be quite frank.
Florence gives him a calling card that basically has her address.
I see
There's no
somebody.
rush to check out. Everything's been paid for.
And who did me that hospitality?
Me?
I promise I will pay you back. And
You don't have to.
a profound paying back of my debt. Some might say a vigorous paying back of my debt shall occur. Oh, and I faint dramatically.
Mm-hmm. And I will actually pass out the calling cards to the rest of the group. Some of them do have my address, but I'm like, here, this is so you can hand it to a cab driver or whatever to make it to my home when we're ready to reconvene together.
So it
I
sounds
whisper-
like
Can I just whisper something to Ricardo before we I whisper to Ricardo as the only other gay guy I know. Do you think he likes me?
and on that, I think we will wrap up.
We will
Our,
go to break.
Ricardo just looks confused.
there are plenty of
These two are
hotels
hopeless.
for you all to take residence in for your stay. But for now, we will take our break and then come back to see just how the rest of their investigation turned out and see if they can figure out what happened to Jackson Elias. Right. All right, welcome back, everyone. We are going to dive right back into our story as we rejoin our investigators bright and early the next day. Ezekiel is being released from the hospital, though you have been given explicit instructions to take it easy and to rest. My question for all of you is, would you all have met Mr. Washington at the hospital, or are you all doing your own things this day?
Well, aside from meeting him on the initial day, I would probably be interested in trying to see what I might be able to find out about that symbol that we saw in his head and that we remembered from before. Even though he knows it's unlikely he'll find anything at the library, he figures it doesn't hurt to do some digging.
Okay. If you are going to the library, then I need for you to give me a library use roll, please.
Yay, library use, see? It gets used sometimes. Ooh, extreme success.
Okay.
For
So
those
with
whose
this
do decimal
extreme,
system.
managed to search the whole library. With an extreme success, you learn that the symbol belongs to a cult called the Cult of the Bloody Tongue. It is a cult that is believed to have originated in Kenya, although its ongoing existence is a bit unclear. There's also some connections to Egypt as well, though those seem to be from much further back. But
Did
you
I hear
do
you right?
find
Cult of the Bloody Drum?
tongue.
Tongue. Okay.
Yes. And during your research, you also discovered that the deity believed that this cult is dedicated to is Equinox Divisi.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, we'll
So-
go with that. I probably did not pronounce
It's all
that
right.
correctly,
It's all right.
but it's fine. It's fine. It's different than Mythos. That's what you learned during your research. Right, Charlie and Florence. What are you two doing?
Florence is sending a car to pick up Dr. Washington, and to basically bring him back to her place because she's going to offer him a spare room in her estate while he recovers.
All right.
He will most certainly take it because it would save Jasper money, and it would also be staying with somebody with resources that Jackson liked. And
it gives them an opportunity to talk one-on-one about the things that she saw.
right.
Mhm.
So he limps. Are you in the car?
She is not in the car. She is at her home awaiting your arrival.
Okay.
It gives time for Charlie to do something in the meantime.
Gotcha.
Charlie, since everybody else is off doing things, he's gonna look into where see if he can find any records of the ship coming anywhere into port nearby.
Okay. All right. Roll me. I suppose include this under. You can either do intelligence or a library use roll.
I'm gonna use my intelligence.
Okay. So looking through ship manifests and records that are publicly available, you don't see any indication that this ship has been here, either in New York or the States recently. But you do see that there are some areas at a place called Emerson Imports that may be receiving packages from the area.
He'll note that in his notebook, realize the time, and be like, ooh, I should probably get going.
All right. So, I believe Mr. Washington and Miss Buckley wanted to have a private conversation. So, Florence, what does your estate look like? What does Ezekiel see as he is arriving?
It is a large home in the South Fork of Long Island, and it is very well constructed. It looks like it's probably been there at least close to 80 to 100 years. And she actually is there at the door as he is brought in and says, Dr. Washington, I hope you don't mind, but I would like to offer you a room to recover in until you are ready to be up to snuff.
Yes, I will graciously accept this. I would offer you proper fiscal repayment, but I know that you would decline it, and I'd offer it again. We would do this strange battle of who could be more polite while being more forceful.
Exactly.
And you
So
have me at a
just take the
disadvantage.
generosity.
I
and-
will.
And I will have one of my people take your bags up to the room. Would you like some lunch?
I will take some lunch after I say that I insist on it. I believe you are a socialite with charity, as I will have to consult or do some pro bono work for them at some point in time, and you will accept that.
I will accept that.
Or else I will
Absolutely.
simply show up and do it anyway.
Of course you would. So
Yes.
please come. We'll have lunch and we can talk about some things I saw in Peru.
Oh, I suspect that we will be having that conversation alone.
Yes.
Okay. I look forward to that. Maybe we could have lunch after that conversation. The morphine has made me feel, well, shaky.
Well, we'll have to wait for the food to be prepared anyway. So come with me.
Understand.
And I'll take him to the dining room and we will sit and have a conversation. And I will relay to him events that Mr. Elias left out of the book, and not only that, that he wasn't present for. She will relay to him that we found a mask that had a very reflective surface, and that when Florence appeared into it, she had visions. And she will state to him that the visions at the time didn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's where she saw that symbol. So it seems they were portents of a future.
You've put your cards on the table, and I must reciprocate. The Midnight Society is a phrase that clearly does not shock you.
No, my father was a member.
Yes, I have heard of him. And how do I say this? He is remembered. I came into the thralls of the society in a different way. Was at a lovely and horrible place, Miskatonic University. And there a cheap beer, not totally hateful, but I was working on a cadaver, and how do I say this? I pulled down the sheets and I saw an impossible body. On accident, they sent the wrong body to the wrong room. There were tentacles and gills, and at first I thought somebody had, as it was a prank. And then the longer I stared at it, the more I realized how possible the impossibility was. I was probably in danger until somebody from the society came and got me. After I finished up my schooling and the like, I was inducted. So I am more than a fledgling member, but less than a veteran, and I must be honest, although I do hate to admit this. I believe that but for a lack of resources, not in money or power or influence, but manpower, that they would have sent somebody perhaps more seasoned. So I must apologize for my inadequacies while I work in real time to address them and overcome them.
Your candor is appreciated. I can tell you, I am certain that whatever your friend, Mr. Elias, was dealing with the situation is likely tied to either the mask or the other things that we witnessed in Peru.
He was my good friend. I would see him sometimes constantly and neither see hide nor hair of him for another 6 months to a year, and then he would just pop by. He never had a permanent address. Called himself a whirling dervish or a rolling stone, but he was out doing the good works, the people's works, as I would refer to it. I will miss him, I will mourn him, but our relationship was simply platonic.
Oh, I don't need to know. Your personal relationships are your business.
Oh no, they have a way of becoming everybody's business.
No.
It's just...
That does seem like a problem.
Or a solution. I am as God made me.
And with that, her lady's maid actually brings in the lunch. And she introduces her. Hang on, I have to actually pull her up because I have forgotten from one session to another what her name is. Hang on just a second. Sophie. Sophie, please meet Dr. Washington. He's going to be staying with us for some time. Dr. Washington, this is my lady's maid, Sophie Miller.
Madam Miller, it is a pleasure to meet you. I wish you could see me in better circumstances, but here is the state that I am in.
Pleasure to meet friends of Miss Buckley. I do hope your recovery is well.
She was accompanying me in Peru.
Might I ask a question? At
Yes.
the risk of being slightly cheeky, I have to. What? Elias said something about the hotel gun incident?
Yes, did you know Gus?
No, how do I met him one time for about 5 minutes. I don't think I would ever forget him, but Elias simply said something about a hall room, a
Yeah.
ballroom, a brawl.
There was the mask incident, okay? And after I witnessed what I witnessed, which I think it was slightly either some of us might have saw more than others kind of thing. It shook me. It shook me. I'm not going to mince words about that at all. But I barred myself in the room. Sophie there, she helped me. And I had my rifle ready because I just knew that D. Mendoza was coming for us because the mask had been stolen from his room.
I think I see where this is going.
And Gus decided to come up and tell me something at that time, and I kind of was very paranoid. And, well, Sophie let him in, and he was, scared absolutely witless that I was going to shoot him. And I didn't. I didn't. I can recognize friend from foe. But it truly, he turned white as a sheet.
I believe you. He was an excitable fellow, Mr. Irons. Well, I will tell you this. I described the impossible body that I saw. My reaction to it was not a positive one once I understood what it was that I was seeing. And so my solution was I went down to the pond in Miskatonic Island. I went fishing, and then every fish I caught, I brawled with it.
Fascinating. Thank you, Sophie, for the lunch.
Yes.
Of course.
I punched fish. I felt so silly after the fact, but I will say this. I believe in constant and not constant, that would be rather troublesome. I believe in clear, unequivocated communication. And I believe that, and I struggle to do this, but when I screw up as I did yesterday, I acted out of order. I would typically not go charging down a freezing, although I must admit, poorly built fire escape, trying to stop cultists with a knife. That's not what Elias would have told me to do. So I will learn from that error. And it pains me to admit that I'm slightly a perfectionist, you might say. But as I kill my ego, I do better. And I only need my ego when I'm around others and I have to, well, how do I say this? Sometimes I can be quite friendly and it disarms people. And that is when I need my ego. Yes.
I've noticed.
Yes. Also, an unrelated question. Is Jasper married?
No. He is single.
Oh. But for how long is the question?
My, aren't we progressive? And then she takes a sip of her wine.
You say progressive. I say immaculate.
So, who is making their way to visit Florence and company today?
Well, if there's If there's if I seem to have found what I was looking for on my library visits, so I'd probably go to try and find people so that I could talk to them about that.
Would you be there as well, Jasper?
Yeah, I would go. I would go. Am I also able to do library use on my own as well?
Sure. What would you be looking into?
Just anything about this mask that I have and why it didn't affect me and what is the relation between the symbol, anything like that at all in my library.
Okay, make a library use roll for me.
Cool. It is a success.
So you spend a few hours going through the library. You find a variety of books on psychology and the occult. And for the most part, they could be boiled down to a competing theory. Some believe it is based on willingness to believe, that the person has to be open to such experiences, whereas others believe it is some people are just naturally more resistant to those kinds of things. You aren't sure which one is correct. As for your research onto the mask itself, you learn a lot of the stuff that Gus had told you before. It is very old, around the 5th century. It is still pretty worth, it would still be worth quite a lot if you wanted to sell it, though you would want to find the ideal salesperson. But that's about all you learn.
I'm just gonna keep it. And during this 4 years, I would have tried it on just to see if anything happened.
Nothing seemed to happen.
Cool. I really am immune to this thing. And just brings all of that information towards and I'm gonna go see Florence as well.
All right, so we'll say shortly after, or rather in the middle of Florence and Ezekiel's conversation, the rest of you are led into the room where you find a very well-to-do dining table. Ezekiel, who is still bandaged, but seems to be in good spirits. And I will leave the scene to the 5 of you.
Have you all had lunch? Because we can get more prepared for you if you need it.
I'm okay. I've eaten before I got here. Thank you though.
You're welcome. Would you like something to drink?
Tea please. Green if you have it.
Okay. And she will go and she'll ask the others, would you like something?
No, I ate before I came over. Thank you though.
Something to drink?
Oh, no, I'm good.
Okay. Ricardo?
What do we have to drink?
Well, we have wine, we have whiskey, we have tea, coffee, water.
Yes, water's good.
Water's good? Okay. And she will go and tell the staff in the kitchen and come back.
Okay. It is, I will remind you all that it is currently prohibition and alcohol is still illegal.
It is illegal. And she's got it.
Minor
It's only illegal if you
potential
get caught.
consequences.
She's rich.
That's the consequence. It's a fine.
She's not
Well-
hosting rambunctious alcohol-driven parties, okay? It's just, personal use. It's fun.
Luckily, during Prohibition, we did not have TikTok and Snapchat.
That's right.
And
No evidence.
yeah,
Easily
no-
hidden in her large estate.
no smart children videotaping
And her children
their.
are gone. It's
Even
a
if-
big
even if-
house for just her.
Even if Flo wanted to, she couldn't, get drunk and be like, "Look at me drinking." Ah, I'm
Yes.
rich.
So she sits down and she's like, "Thank you all. I have offered my home to Dr. Washington so he can recover. if you all have places that you're staying, that's fine. If you would like to stay here, you can. We have plenty of rooms. They're all empty. But we have some ideas on things, and we need to discuss. Have you all found anything this morning?
Not this morning, but yesterday, yes.
What did you find?
These people, or that symbol, it's from some group that calls themselves the Cult of the Bloody Tongue. African in origin.
Florence, can I have you make me an intelligence check, please?
Who?
Florence.
Okay. Can I do that or education? No, I'll do intelligence.
This one is more intelligence.
Okay, no
She was
problem.
not in a college class, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. She wasn't taking those kind of classes, unfortunately. Okay, let's see what I got. Ooh, I got a success.
When you hear the name, your mind is pulled back to a vision. The image of this creature with 4 legs and a face that seemed to be pointing up at the sky above, and then a tentacle that was blood red that seemed to reach back down to the earth. It isn't until Ricardo mentions it that you realize that it's not a tentacle that you saw.
It was a tongue.
It was a tongue.
And she says that out loud. It was a tongue. It wasn't a tentacle, it was a tongue.
A tongue-tickle.
The creature I saw.
Oh,
It had a blood red tongue.
that would make sense. I didn't find any pictures of their god, but they seem to worship something called Equinox Vizi. Or Vizi.
I wonder if that's it. And she will just give a description of the creature she saw.
Your research did not include a description, Ricardo.
But that is what I saw when I looked in the mask.
Interesting.
Might I ask a question?
You just did.
This is technically true.
Yes, you may.
I should like to ask if I could. No. If I ask to look at the mask, you're going to yell at me, and you should yell at me. Or maybe you would say, well, that's mind-numbingly stupid.
Ezekiel, as you ask about that, oh, you mean this mask?
Oh. Oh, Jasper, I find so many things about you fascinating.
Like carrying around your pocket, Jasper.
Well, no, we were talking about it earlier, and I thought to bring it.
Would
Such a good
anyone
friend.
be opposed?
I'm glad you find it. I'm glad you find the mask interesting, and I'm
No,
glad.
Jasper. It's not just the mask that I find interesting.
Of course, we are in the midst of like plenty of interesting things, and I'm so glad that I am also here, experiencing this interesting things with you.
You blush again, my dear friend. I would like to inspect the mask, but only with the consent of my compatriots, as I feel that we're all friends now.
Do be mindful. It's like looking at the body you've had.
Oh, I know. I just feel like sometimes I feel as if this one is hard to avoid or justify avoiding. Well, what say you? Charlie, would you like to look at the mask with me?
My sister looked at it, and I'd have to lie to her when I got home, if I looked at it, and
It is best not to lie. to our loved ones.
I mean, Charlie, you
Nah.
might not even see anything. I didn't see anything. So I was immune to it. I've been trying, and then at this point, Jasper does put it in his face. See? Nothing.
This is
I'm
true.
just worried about her right hook.
I've heard that she hits hard, although that's secret. I will not tell you where I heard it. I will look at the mask. Before I do though, Ricardo, could you do me a favor? Would you stand next to me to help keep me upright in case I have a negative reaction?
Jasper has a very obviously disappointed face.
And Jasper, obviously, I would always want you by my side. Waking up with you at the side of my bed was one of the highlights of ever, quite frankly.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that you are not having a nightmare.
Oh, only
This is
such
a-
sweet dreams. I look at
As
the
you
mask.
all arrange yourselves, you look into the shiny surfaces of the mask. Nothing happens.
Keeper,
See?
I have a
Sin-
question. And I don't know if
Sure.
this is metagaming or not, so maybe it's an idea roll. But given everything that I know about the incident and what I've learned, would it be fair for my character to theorize that because they were successful, that particular deity no longer has power, or that artifact is now bereft of its once potent capabilities? Is that metagaming? Is that a fair theory?
I would say that is a theory that you are free to have. That it is reasonable to assume.
Hmm. I think now the only power that this artifact has is either power to gain money or notoriety amongst certain circles. Hmm.
Do you want it?
No. If it's safe, I believe it should be in a museum or returned to its proper place. Though I'm not sure where its proper place would be.
I know
Just
some people that might be interested in it.
here. I have no
She
need
takes
for
it.
Interesting enough. I have a good, Elias said optimism was the calling card of the soon to be deceased, but I do have a good feeling about all of you. I see so much talent. I see Ricardo, I've heard that you're knowledgeable on many things, and Charlie, I always have faith in those who do the good work of journalism. Florence, I would give you the compliments, but you're well aware of your greatness. And Jasper, you have much talent. And as I say that, I wink at you playfully.
And Florence looks to
You have
Charlie.
something
Did-
in your eye. I can look at it. Just try to come closer to you. I
Yes,
can
look me in my eye as we do
Florence,
that.
what were you
I
saying?
looked at Charlie and say, "Did you find anything?"
I looked into the Dark Mistress. It's not came to the States, but it is linked to a place called Emerson Imports. Something about packages. Oh, and I did the photo last night. He'll hand over like the photo that he took. So the others can see what the symbol actually looked like.
Does Emerson Imports ring a bell with Florence?
You can roll at me. Let's see. Let's roll with this one.
I almost say a credit rating roll because she might use them for
Sure.
importing shit.
Sure, you can do a credit rating roll, so that you know.
That's a success.
You've heard that the current owner of Emerson Imports can be persuaded not to pay too much attention to packages when they come in for a profitable enough donation.
Yeah, Emerson Imports. I've used them a couple times. The owner is really easily persuaded by a hefty donation to turn a blind eye to certain packages coming and going.
That would make sense if this ship doesn't want to come into port.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we've got a few things.
As you all are sitting there, um, your lady's maid enters. You see she has what looks to be a newspaper in her hand, and she goes, "Pardon my interruption, but I felt you would be interested in seeing this." And she hands to you a copy of the New York Times. And if you look at the Discord, you will find it written. It was not on the roll 20. Well, we gave it to you, so can I have you read that for the
Yes.
audience?
Author murdered by brutal killers. Body found in Hotel Chelsea. Possible connection to Harlem murders. By Rebecca Schausenberg. Manhattan, New York, January 15th. Author Jackson Elias has been found murdered in his Chelsea hotel room. The killers are reported to have used long knives to butcher their victim. Lieutenant Martin Poole of the murder squad, what a name, stated that he is exploring possible connections between the murder and similar slayings in Harlem last year. Local resident Hilton Adams was convicted of the Harlem murders in October last and is awaiting execution in Sing Sing prison. Lieutenant Poole offered no opinion whether this new murder indicates that Adams had accomplices or is innocent of the earlier crimes. And she sets the paper down in the center of the table for anyone else that would like to look at the article. Well, it seems that Mr. Adams is currently on death row.
The savagery of our society cannot be understated.
I think we should,
Revolting.
If he's on death row, perhaps he did or didn't do those murders last year, but he certainly didn't do the murder yesterday.
There is a world in which he might have done it as a cultist or been involved and done it or had done some murders and been framed. There's all kinds of things you could put it around, but
Mm-hmm.
if we wanted to be thorough, we should investigate it. If we wanted to take other tacks, take a different tack, we could go to, was it Shanghai? Maybe track down where it was last seen. There are different avenues we could go to.
I
Pardon
believe.
my
Yes.
interruption, but it appears Mr. Elias's funeral will be tomorrow, around 2 in the afternoon. Would you like me to add that to your calendar?
Yes, please. I will be in attendance.
Yes.
we should all go together.
I agree. And she looks to everyone and says, I believe we should address the problem at home before we move abroad.
Yes.
I would also like to talk to Adams, just in case, before he dies. It might not be connected. It might be connected. The other deaths.
Lieutenant Martin Poole, he's the one that took our statements yesterday. You might be able to talk to him to see if you can speak, because he's suspicious that Adams may not be the actual murderer.
I'll go ahead and reach out.
So, yes, and he mentioned to us a Captain Robeson in the 14th, which is Harlem.
What about him?
He's obviously one that he's the captain of that precinct, and they made the arrest of Mr. Adams for the murders. But Lieutenant Poole said that there's rumors and suspicions that he may not be on the up and up.
I see. Well,
I think we have an investigative reporter that might need to get a story.
I can poke around.
do you want to go with me then?
Yeah, I can go with you.
Perfect.
Honestly, I think at some point we should go talk to Mr. Adams' neighbors, see if they saw anything unusual.
Agree.
I find the police if sometimes aren't forthcoming with knowledge, but if you talk to the local community, you're more likely to get a story, especially if you're not wearing a badge.
True.
I have another idea. If this man is to be executed, I don't know how soon that will be, but usually they need a doctor at the end of the execution to verify someone's life. Maybe the Midnight Society could pull some strings, and I might be that doctor.
Perhaps.
It's a stretch. I'm sure they probably have someone on staff, but who knows? I'm just thinking out loud.
If you find out anything, like if he's trying to appeal or anything like that, do let me know who his attorney is.
It's probably a poor, overworked public defender with 7,000
Exactly.
cases.
And he might need a new attorney.
Yes. Do love our legal system.
I have a number of them in my address book.
Florence, you were asking if anyone was interested in staying at this place, at your house.
Yes.
I would love to take you up on that offer.
Of course, you're welcome to.
Perfect. My villa is fine as it is, but I would rather be around you all,
Sure.
everyone here in this room,
Mm-hmm.
of course, to investigate.
Of course.
Be a lot easier than traveling.
And Flores isn't buying this at all?
Absolutely, just want
Because she's been doing side-eye between you and those two.
So I would love to stay here.
Of
Florence,
course.
there's that spare bedroom next to this one, and Jasper and I have so much in common.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course. And it's on a totally different floor than mine, so I won't hear a thing.
I can be quite loud when I converse. Although I've been told I'm quite good at speaking with my hands. I look over
Wow.
at Jasper. I talk with my hands. It's the Italian
Oh,
heritage.
you know sign language. That's
Yes.
awesome.
Yes.
Perfect.
Sign language. Many communicative abilities I have.
Miss Florence, if I might actually have that drink now.
Yes, absolutely. Which would you prefer, wine or whiskey?
A whiskey, please, ma'am.
Okay. And she looks to Sophie and says, please make sure that Ricardo gets his water and Jasper gets his green tea. We've been waiting on it. And please get a whiskey for Charlie here.
Of course. And it'll take a few more minutes before you all serve everything you requested. What do you all wish to accomplish today? It is January 16th, and currently your schedules are open. If you wish to attend a funeral, that will be tomorrow, and we can skip forward to that. But it is up to you all.
Well, I don't know about the rest of them, but I think with some free time, Ricardo wants to go see if he can find out anything more, before the funeral, about this cult of the Bloody Tongue or their deity, possibly looking for other connections or relations of other groups, to the cult or that may have interacted with them.
I think if Ricardo shares that, Florence will offer to assist.
Yeah, why not?
Okay. All right. So, you wish to do some more research? We'll say there is a library over at Harvard University. It'll take you some time on the Widener Library, but you could make a day of it.
Come, Ricardo. We'll make a day of this. We'll go do some research.
Oh, excellent. Yes. Yes, the funeral we have time.
Yes.
All right. So as Florence and Ricardo begin their journey, Jasper, Charlie, and Ezekiel, how are you spending your day?
I'm going to reach out to Captain Poole, Sergeant, whatever, that guy.
Lieutenant Poole.
Lieutenant Poole, and just be like, hey, thank you for helping, because he was the one that found us, right? Thank you for assisting with the whole thing, and do you mind if we talk to Hilton Adams?
Okay. So are you going to are you going to call the police station, or are you going to go speak to him in person?
I'm gonna go speak to him in person, and everybody's welcome to join, of course.
I would love to. I need to thank him anyway, as he helped me, and I would love to accompany you.
Okay. And then that leaves dear Charlie. Are you joining them or doing your own thing?
No, Charlie's gonna go have a talk around Mr. Adams' neighborhood and get like not only the temperature about like what his neighbors thought of him, but also like what the opinion of Captain Robeson is from the locals. Get much more of a street level temperature check.
Okay. We're splitting up. My favorite activity.
You're splitting the
I-
party. This is when we die.
I think
Technically, I've already
we-
died.
Death by paper cut.
I think we will start with Charlie as you attempt to visit and explore Harlem. So, as you are attempting to canvass the neighborhood, can I have you roll me either a charm, fast talk, or persuade roll?
Yay.
Hey. So, you spend a few hours kind of just going door to door, canvassing with a few people. The first thing you notice is that there is a not insignificant amount of people who are avoiding answering your questions. Most of them seem to be unwilling to explain anything more to you than what you already know. Even kind of pouring on the best of your charm, you find yourself trying to almost force information out of people. But you do hear word of a woman who is doing her own investigation. A woman named Millie Adams, who you quickly discover is the wife of Hilton Adams. I mean, you are able to find her address if you wish to go and visit her in person.
He'll go see her.
All right. So you make your way down the streets, and you find the home itself to be kind of a smallish, unassuming building, a brownstone type, though it has seen much better days. And as you are arriving, you see a dark-skinned African-American woman dressed in a very conservative but very nice dress as she is leaving the house. And as she sees you approach, she stops and just stares expectantly.
Mrs. Adams? I'm Charles Royce. I wanted to ask you a few questions.
About what?
Oh, well, as you saw in the paper, that there has been another murder. Just looking into anything that, possibly maybe uh to help get your husband off the charge. It's starting to look like he has been uh brought up on charges that he might not have did.
All right. I'm gonna speak plainly. I'm not exactly sure why you've taken an interest, and I've learned not to trust too many people around as of late. So, why exactly have you taken an interest in my husband's story?
Well, I'll be frank. I'm an investigative reporter with the Boston Herald. I usually investigate crimes, but in this case, it seems to be that there has been a miscarriage of justice, and I would hate to see an innocent man executed for something he didn't do. And if
Ro-
I can assist, I would be very happy to do so.
Roll me a persuade or charm with a bonus dice. She does want to believe you.
We're going with that extreme success.
Goodness, look at that. Assuming I can take you at your word, I don't know much about Mr. Elias. He seemed kind and all. He'd been through here asking questions about a Juju house and Mr. Naquani, but if you are serious about wanting to look out for me and mine, I will do whatever I can to help you. Have you heard of the Lafayette Theater?
I have not. Is that a theater here in Harlem?
Yes, pretty close by, at least for people who live here. It's been known as the Beautiful House on occasion. It gives us a public space to talk. Can be dangerous to talk out here. The authorities haven't exactly been honest.
I have heard about Captain Robeson. Some thoughts don't seem to be too pleasant about him. What was Mr. Elias just asking about the Juju house and Mr. You mentioned another name.
Silas Naquane, he's a purveyor of the house, so I'm not entirely sure what he does in the Juju house, to be honest with you. They aren't exactly too kind when I poke my head in. He was asking about rumors about some sort of Kenyan cult, something about a tongue or something. Didn't make too much sense, but it was something. Well, I'm sure you've heard about the other people. We were trying to look into that. My husband was. Well, I'm sure you can imagine. But if you know anything that could help my Hilton get free, I do ask that you provide. I don't have much, but if it's money you need, I'm sure I can get something.
Oh no, ma'am. No money. Just seems like your husband was in the wrong place at the wrong time, especially with this more recent murder. What was your husband also investigating the other murders, or how did he get tied up in all of this?
He is a veteran of the Great War, so when people started going missing, he and a few of his friends got together to be somewhat of a citizen's watch, and instead he found himself being accused of the very murders he was trying to stop, and his compatriots, his friends, were forced to go about their own business lest they be swept up in it, and well, now he's in Sing Sing waiting for the end.
Oh, your husband served as well?
Yes. Fought in foreign lands for freedom and see what he has earned for himself.
I did too, so makes me even more eager to get him out. Who's his attorney? Did they give him a public defender?
He had one at one point, but there doesn't seem to be any more avenues for the legal system, not unless I find some compelling evidence. I can deal with it. Captain Robeson's been pretty clear on not wanting more people to get involved, which is why I've been going out seeing what I can do.
Well, we'll see what we can do. I have a friend who would be eager to get him an attorney who would do their best as well to try and get an appeal process going. What about Captain Robeson? Was he just like open and shut case, didn't want to investigate?
It was pretty quick. No expert on law, but he didn't seem too interested in pursuing other options. Not too many people care much about what's going on here in Harlem.
And apologies, ma'am. I know you were on your way out. The your husband, was there anyone who would have wanted to pin this on him? Anybody you would have think of?
Oh, not that I know. As far as I know, he had been rather popular with the people. You know, the type that would help you give you the shirt off his back if you ask for it.
He sounds like a really good man. Well, thank you, Mrs. Adams. Is it okay if I keep you updated if when we find anything?
Yes, yes, of course.
Thank you. I will not take up any more of your time.
All right. And while that conversation is happening, let us follow Jasper and Ezekiel as they attempt to go and speak to the police. Something that always goes well. So, are you two walking into the police station directly, or are you trying anything else? Do you want to have any conversations? What's the plan?
Jasper is really quiet if we went by car, which I'm assuming we did because we have a car. Has been quiet the entire ride.
Jasper,
Yes.
do you not like cars?
I love cars. I love all kinds of cars. What kind of car do you like?
I find the company and one rides with is far more important than the vehicle itself. Ricardo, why are you mimicking the driver?
What? No, of course not.
Ricardo isn't with us. It's just us.
I just saw him driving, so I was so confused. I had, oh, I'm sorry. It must be the trauma from the fall that I had yesterday.
That's okay. He does look a little bit like Ricardo.
Yes, yes, of course. I worry about you, Jasper. You just
What?
looked sad. It's so quiet.
On the outside, Jasper is trying to look smart and like a little like concerned, but on the inside, he's like, "Oh my god, I'm in the car, and he's so close." Car, but doesn't show it. Well, just a little bit concerned about Jackson. I've been it reminds me very closely of what happened in Peru, and as you may know, we lost one of our good friends, Ricardo's love of his life. And Georgie's friend, and also my friend.
Well, I must say I wish Georgie the best. And Ricardo seems to be taking his loss quite well.
It has been 4 years.
4 long. Well, Jasper, I just feel as if I have an affinity for you or with you. But I believe that is the police station up there. I suppose we should just go in. Driver, would you be so kind as to wait for us?
I can do that.
Thank you. Come, Jasper, would you take my arm? I'm a little unsteady.
Happily. I would happily hold your arm.
Jasper, that is my waist.
Oh, sorry. Here. Do you want to put your arm? How do
Here-
you hold?
We'll do it this way. It's wow. Your grip strength is quite impressive. Let us
Yeah.
let us walk in. Oh, these cursed steps, and I wince in pain as I go up the steps. And very good, very good. I'm going to open the door after you.
Perfect. And we go to whoever we can see and ask for Lieutenant Poole.
Robeson?
Sure. As you enter, you find there are several police officers going about their work, and there is a main desk with a uniformed officer, a young white gentleman, maybe in his early 20s. Good day. How can I help you two?
Yes, we would like to speak with Hobson, Lieutenant.
Well, I would like to I would love to talk to Lieutenant Poole first.
Oh, I'm
Just
sorry. Yes.
say
It's the
anything.
head. It's the head.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, the lieutenant's rather busy. Can you tell me what you're here to speak to him about?
Was he the one that rescued me after I fell off the Yes. Yeah, I'm the man whose life he saved yesterday.
You were at the Hotel Chelsea.
Yes,
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
he saved both of us.
Okay.
Keeper, could I make a charm roll? I just
Sure. Go for it.
really want this person to like us and not find anything to be suspicious. I will actually spend the 3 points of luck on that. Just because when they said you were at the hotel, there seemed to be some apprehension there. And as a charming person, I've found that it's best to start off on the right foot.
Okay. I will let the lieutenant know you've come. Can I have you take a seat over in the waiting room, waiting area?
Yes. He did tell us to contact him immediately if we had any thoughts or concerns. So I don't want to sound pushy, but it is a matter of urgency.
He will receive the message as quickly as I can give it, I assure you.
Oh, I know that you are quite adroit and adept at your job. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous. It's very traumatizing.
Yeah, you sure? We will do the best we can.
That comforts me greatly. Thank you.
Okay. And you see the uniformed officer leave from behind the counter, and about 10 minutes later, both he and the lieutenant return, You see, he returns to his position behind the desk, and the lieutenant walks up to you all. You two must be the friends of Miss Buckley and Charlie and the other one.
Yes, yes. Yes, Florence is an asset to the community and a friend to all, but we are most certainly her friend. I believe
Wonderful.
I have to thank you for. I believe I must thank you for saving my life.
Your thanks are not needed. We do have an empty interview room. If I can get the two of you to follow me, I would love to take your statements about that night.
Of course, of course. Can Ezekiel make an intelligence roll to try to piece together what he should say or admit to and what he shouldn't say or admit to?
Sure. We'll see. We can make that room. I don't know.
And could I clamor mayhaps for a bonus die on it since he is of sound mind and spoke with everybody about their what they saw and what they didn't.
Gonna say no on the bonus dice, but you can
Okay.
make the roll.
Okay.
So, you are led to the interview room. There are 3 chairs inside, and he gestures for you two to take the 2 on the other side of him. Right, so let's start with the beginning. Why had you two been there to see Mr. Elias?
Well, you see, it was kind of a nice mixture, a perfect storm, if you will. Elias is a good friend of mine, and I tell him a couple personal anecdotes about when I was younger and I knew him, just for sake of brevity. Um, and that type of lifestyle that he has makes it hard for constant communication. So he had asked me to come meet him while he was in town, and as a surgeon, I do a fair bit of traveling. Now, Jasper had been on an expedition with with Elias about 4 years ago, and they also happened to be in town. So it was just friends meeting friends and making new friends. It should have been one of the best days of our lives.
And when you entered the room, was it you who broke through the door?
I don't believe so, but I don't perfectly remember. And I point to my head.
Hmm. And when you entered the room, what was the state of both the room and Mr. Elias, as you recall?
Well, as we approached the door, I remember there was a soft scream. The sound of. First, it was hard to make out what the sound was, but there was a rushed, a panicked sound as if people were tearing up the room looking for things. Almost manic, quite frankly. And I hate to say this, but when the door opened, I saw my friend. Saw a man who was like a father or an uncle to me, staring up like this. There's some type of carving on his forehead. His blood, his eyes were sightless. I know that the last thing that he experienced was pain, not horror. Very few things, if anything, scared Elias. Other than ants. He did not like ants. So they had too many legs.
Did the symbol mean anything to you or your friends?
No. That you must understand the people that did this are certifiably insane. They ran around in, I think, robes, and they had these strange weapons, and they had this crazed look on their face. The these were the type of men that could not be reasoned. They are the reason why we have the penitentiaries and the asylums. Evil does not begin to describe the malice that they carry in their heart.
Roll me either a fast talk roll, a charm roll, or persuade roll to see how well this is going for you.
Checking. Let's do charm. He's good at charming. He needs time to make a certain level of connection with somebody. He's not good at fast talk, and he doesn't debate. So persuade, an extreme success.
All right. Before you suffered your injury, did you hear anything via perhaps a vehicle that may have been nearby?
You mean like a car? I'm saying this cryptically. I'm answering this question with a question. You mean like a car or a boat, mayhaps?
Certainly, one would be more likely than the other in the middle of New York.
Well, you asked so broadly. I have a flair for being pedantic. It's my medical training, and well, sometimes I am a bit slow on the uptake. I do apologize.
Mhm.
Keeper, did I hear anything about a car?
Let's see. Roll me. You could roll a listen roll, but you will need at least a hard success to see if you recall anything before you had fully passed out.
Extreme success.
You do recall hearing a car pulling off just before you passed out.
Could I tell how big it was? Obviously, I wouldn't know make and model, but like just a car. Would I have any other details with the extreme?
I'm going to say no. You were
That's fair.
you were a bit distracted by falling.
By my death, yes. Gravity attacked me. It was quite unfortunate. Yes, it's strange the things that you can retain as you're plummeting to a near death experience. Um, I did hear a car pull off. It had to have been quite close, although forgive me if I don't recall the exact layout of the Hotel Chelsea.
All right. There
Keeper,
were a
I would like.
number
Oh, sorry.
of effects in Mr. Elias's room, most of which were taken by Mr. Kensington. Was there. Do you know why some of it seemed to have been destroyed? There was it looked like a small matchbox that was poorly disposed of.
Well, see, Elias was a man who dealt with antiquities. He was a collector of knowledge and books and scrolls and tomes and how do I say this? Things that are boring. So there's a chance that these nut jobs were looking for things to sell, to steal. They also might have, like I said, they were ransacking the place looking for things. So that would be my best guess. A matchbox, you says, and note keeper. I have no idea about the matchbox. I was like, I don't know. You'd have to be real dumb to destroy what moron would destroy a matchbox? It would have to be just a total mouth breather to destroy a perfectly good matchbox.
Right. Well, I told your friends that if you find yourself remembering anything that could be of use, please let us know. It would be far safer than to go and climb fire escapes in pursuit of dangerous people.
I was in pursuit of justice, and my uncle, my father figure, a good man, had been harmed. I did not do something that was in character for me, but I was in a situation where someone such as myself would not find a lot of normalcy. Surely you can understand, but I do have something to ask of you, if you would be so kind as to hear me out.
Of course.
There is a man named Hilton Adams,
I am
and
aware.
I am aware that you are aware. He winces in pain as he says that. He feels just the ribs acting up again. Sorry, that might have been a bit curt. We, Florence, my newfound friends, would like to speak with him. And we would like your assistance if possible, please.
I will see what I can do.
Believe there is a legalistic bent to this. Florence, I've only known her for a short amount of time, but she has a strong. She she is a bastion of justice rather. And I she believes through her resources and her knowledge, which are both immense, that a miscarriage of justice has occurred. Since I was coming here to speak with you anyway, I am a bit of a messenger.
I will see what I can do. For now, I would recommend you leave the pursuit of justice to the professionals.
Oh, after my 12 round, actually, no, after my 1 round fight with gravity, I have no desire to pursue such things. Oh, it does. Sorry, these things pop in and out of my head. Her husband was a judge, so he's
That right?
probably a great influence in that regard.
Right. Well, that is enough from you two for now.
Justice
Mo.
Buckhead. No, Buckley. Buckley. Sorry, it's the throbbing wounds on my head. Buckley. It's Justice Buckley. Very famous.
Okay. And while you and Lieutenant Poole finish your conversation,
Oh, could I make 2 rolls just real quick? I want to do spot hidden to see if anybody was listening. And I also wanted to see if I could do a psychology check on him.
you can, sure, you can try both roles. You will need a pretty high success because you're in an actual interview.
Got you. Psychology is a bust. And looking for that good old spot hidden. 54.
You don't think so. It's hard to tell inside of a proper interview room. It's hard to see or hear what's going on outside. But you don't think so. You don't see Poole kind of a hint towards anyone watching or any other officers paying attention to you.
Okay. Thank you for your time. We will be on our merry way. And if you need me, I am recuperating. I think at the Buckhead. No, damn it. The Buckley estate. The Buckley estate is where the two of us are staying. And I shake his hand, and we slowly make our way.
All right. So, With that, we are going to switch over to Florence and Ricardo. So, you all are able to make a phone call to Harvard the University, or you can travel there. I will tell you, traveling there will be
That's
a
in
considerable
Massachusetts.
journey. Yes, it will be a
Yeah, because
considerable
Columbia is
journey.
right in New York City.
It would require a rail visit, but you can make a phone call, or you can try your luck with a different library entirely.
Yeah, we'll go to Columbia University Library
All right.
because that's in New York City. And that's also
Make
a good school.
make some library rolls.
I'm going to assist Ricardo.
So what's that mean for me? Do I have
You get
to,
an extra die,
I get
basically an extra
die?
roll. Mhm.
Okay, so we'll roll one and see if it.
You'll roll
works.
2. You'll roll it twice and take the better one. Got a hard success.
I just wanted to see if the first one I was going to roll was going to be like a super extreme success or something.
Okay, so tell me, what exactly are you two looking for as you sit down and start pouring
We are
through
looking for any
books?
references to the creature Florence saw or the cult.
Yeah, not just like more information on them, but even like
Anything.
yeah,
Yeah.
anything like like any other groups they may have come in contact with or may make mention of them. Anything that seems perhaps similar, but maybe not named using that exact same name. And then, yeah, just pretty much anything you can think of on them.
Okay. So, as you sit down and you begin to go through books, you find there aren't too many mentions of this cult. But as you are going through, you find yourselves being referred to by a book named Africa's Dark Sects. And it is a tome that was written by Jackson Elias. However, as you are looking for the actual physical copy, you find that it is missing. And do you wish to seek out what are they called? A librarian for more information? Or do you wish to
I
pursue...
will go do that. I will go do that.
Okay. You come across an older woman, maybe in her 50s or 60s, with kind of graying hair. She's putting a few books back. Yes, how can I help you?
Yes, we were looking for a book that was referenced in another one, and it seems to not be in the library. And I'm wondering if someone might have checked it out or something. It's Africa's Dark Sects, written by Mr. Jackson Elias.
Oh, yes. It was here up until several weeks ago. We don't have any notes of who took it out. It simply went missing one day. We had reached out to Mr. Elias, the author, and attempted to get him to provide us another one, but we've yet to hear back from him.
Unfortunately, it was just in the paper today. He's been murdered.
Oh dear, that is truly unfortunate. He had a rather interesting reputation around here. He is his books are macabre but interesting.
They are.
Was there something specific you were looking for in the book? The Prospero House may have another copy of the actual book.
Oh, that's actually good to know. That is his publisher, yes?
Yes. They were not too far from here, actually. They have been relatively kind when we've asked for them to provide us a few copies of his book in the past.
Excellent. Yes, I'll place a call in with them and see if they have a copy that we can check, because we're just doing some research on some things that we had come across, and your library is wonderful, truly wonderful. And that book just kept coming up in things we were researching, and we just couldn't find it. So we appreciate your help. But thank you. And your name?
Hold on, let me go.
That's okay.
Something to this.
I put you on the spot.
It was, we'll say Elizabeth Forrester.
Miss Forrester, thank you so much for your assistance, truly.
Of course, if there's anything else we could do for you here at the library, please let us know.
Thank you. And Florence will leave her and go back to Ricardo and be like, okay, the book went missing a couple weeks ago. They don't know who took it. It just went missing. And we need to deal with the publisher, Prospera House.
Is that the only book we could find on the matter?
I believe is that a question for me or is that a question for the keeper?
I guess it would be both, because he didn't tell us about anything else, so it's also open.
I think we need that book, but the only way we're going to be able to possibly get a copy of it is to go to the publishing house or call them to request one.
Well, I guess we're going to the publishing house.
Okay.
And as our groups begin to investigate what they're investigating, I think that will be a good time for us to end our story. Because you all have learned a bit, so we want to give that information time to digest. But with that said, I am thankful to my wonderful players here for helping me tell this story, and I do hope that next week's session will be much less deadly for everyone involved. But we'll go ahead and let these wonderful people tell you where you can find them on the internet, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up our story. And we'll start this time we'll start with Ezekiel Washington.
Hey, I'm Inkblood Demon on my socials. I'm in Ree's Discord. I'm in Stabber's Discord. I'm always dying in Call of Cthulhu games. I run games on Start Playing if you want to check those out under also Inkblood Demon. I almost died in 13 fucking minutes, y'all. Like, what in the fuck? I mean, I just, Jesus God, like, there's a joke about premature ejaculation in there somewhere. Yeah, I will have that
expiration.
Premature expiration. I will have the follow-up to that joke written next week, unless I die in real life in between there, which I'm now scared of. And fuck gravity. That's the real takeaway from this is fuck gravity. I'm out.
All right. Well, after that, young Charlie, what would you like to tell us?
Trying to unmute myself from the wrong one. Hi, I am Ari. You can find me on Twitter at Small Shadow Snack, which is just if it's not become a possum emporium, it's just me not doing anything on Twitter because social media. Or you can find me at Blue Sky at Aurelia Crane. I am here mostly just to torment Ree and come back next Sunday so we can torment him again. I will then see if I can die within the first 13 minutes because I cannot let Demon have all the fun.
It wasn't fun.
No, look here. I have to die. I did not get to be eaten by an anaconda. I have to go out in a blaze of glory.
We are not playing the game properly. This is
We're surviving too long.
Premature expiration.
This has only been 4 episodes. The story has just begun. You're supposed to be surviving.
The story's just begun.
Supposed to be surviving. But next up, Ricardo.
Yeah, so I'm at Sir Monolith on the socials, but mostly you just find me around here causing trouble for Ree and ruining all his plans. So come back next time to see what happens.
All right, next up, the wonderful Mama McStabber.
Aw, thank you, Ree. All right, so I am Mama McStabber. You can catch me here on Sundays playing Call of Cthulhu with Ree's crew here in Demon and doing all the sus-ass shit and dying in the first 13 minutes. I still can't get over that.
It was very fast. It was very efficient.
That was so bad.
It was very efficient.
But you can also catch me on McStabber Studios. That is twitch.tv/McStabber Studios, where on Wednesdays I play the absolutely ruthless, heinous bitch, Olga, the La Sombra in Dark Ages Vampire the Masquerade. It is a V20, V5 kind of hybrid game we're playing. It is the Transylvania Chronicles. That's at 8 p.m. on Wednesdays. And then Friday, I am running Vampire the Masquerade V5 for Queen's Gambit. It'll be our second session of Vampire and the third total episode of Queen's Gambit so far. And yeah, my crew is staring down a freaking hangry gargoyle inside of a sealed up Tremere Chantry. Yeah. It's great. And of course, Saturday evenings, you can catch Ree and myself in a game run by Junie Von Esch on McStabber Studios at 8 p.m. Eastern. We are playing a V5 game set in Chicago in 2010. He's playing a wickedly awesome La Sombra. And I am playing a Bruja, and it is a ton of fun. So, yeah, good times.
It is very fun. And make sure to join us next week as this story continues. And if you're interested in telling more stories, go and join our Discord. The link should be in the chat. We just finished a casting call for the upcoming Mage the Ascension campaign, Arcane Veils, where I get to guide a handful of people through the wonderful world of magic. So definitely keep an eye out for that story. But with that, I think our time together has come to its end. So I thank you for being here, and I hope you will continue to support us.